It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad. You good at hydrating? Are you good at drinking water?
Man, kinda, yeah.
I mean, because you smoke a lot, and with smoking, there's like a lot of cotton mouth.
Oh yeah.
Because
I make sure I'm ready. If I gotta have a meal and then like 30 minutes sleep, and then we start the process over. You smoke again, eat again, sleep again.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in between, you do your work, but that's mainly the cycle.
Wow. So like you are responsible with it, because like I don't even smoke like that anymore. Bring this mic.
Yeah.
I don't want it to just cover your face.
No, it's good.
Bring it down and it just tilt it up. That's perfect.
Yes, sir.
Maybe like this. Sorry, it's my OCD
No, it's
shit.
good. I liked it.
Yeah, dude. Even as a sober boy.
You're fully sober?
Nah, dude.
I was about to say.
This is just for decoration. That'd be crazy. No, dude. I like to drink. I like to have myself a seltzer here and there. I like to pour myself like a glass of whiskey, like an old man. I smoke a cigar every now and then, dude. Just shit that I thought I'd never do as a high schooler. Yeah.
You're some Johnny Walker, some Blue Label or Black Label.
I mean, I haven't had Blue Label in a minute because I'm not bougie like that, so I'll go for like red or black every now and then.
It's like the classic Filipino uncle at the party, you know what I mean? They just in the backyard sipping some Johnny Walker. That's how you know.
That's if they're sipping, but if we're shooting shots, then it's going to be Hennessy.
Yeah, for sure.
If the Filipino family's feeling a little bougie, then they'll want to go with the Douce.
They got, for sure.
Yeah. You got a big family?
Yeah, I do. Not over here in the Bay.
East Coast,
right? More so in DC, more so in the actual Philippines. I got my huge family out there.
Wow.
But I do got like family all over the, all over the world type shit. Cause cousins and shit, my mom and everything.
And then the family just keeps making babies.
Oh yeah, man, that's a story for sure.
Wait, what's the story?
I mean, like, just like we getting deep into it already, but
yeah, man.
In the Philippines, like, man, I was trying to. I'll reveal it now, but I was going to reveal it in like a movie or some shit. But I'm not gonna do it now. You know what I mean? It's a fucking podcast. My Lola, my grandma, you know, the mom of my mom. She's one out of 18 kids, right?
Stop. You said 18?
18, right? How do we get to that number, right? Well, in the village in Tarlac, there was this dude who came through. There was this, these people that had all that land over there, and he married one of these girls, right? Mm-hmm. He had like kids with her or whatever. Then he had kids with her sister.
Yeah.
So he had kids with two sisters, and they all lived in the same house, right? My Lola was the youngest of the one that he actually married. So all those 18 kids had kids, which were my mom's generation, and then they all had kids, and then that's my generation.
Whoa.
And then now there's the new generation coming up, so they're all over, right? That's pretty cool. And like my mom be like, you got cousins here, you got cousin in Toronto and shit. My mom was hella cool about documenting that shit because they don't want that shit to be public. And I'm saying on a fucking podcast, you know what I mean? But I think it's very interesting to me because, like, you know, you're in a fucking province in the Philippines and there's probably not a lot of people there. Bruh probably really wanted a land grab, and that was how politics work right there. I'm gonna marry this fucking girl, and then his sister kind of bad too, so like her sister kind of bad too, so let's all have kids. And you know, I don't know how it was back then. That's like a couple generations before, but when you think about those things, what it was like for life in the Philippines, and like where I'm at now, it hella centers me and makes me want to think about how I got here and stuff. And that's just my mom's mom. Like my mom has her dad, my dad has his mom. My dad has his dad too, so they all have their own stories, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of want to put into my art and music somehow, as us, like, you know, Filipino Americans here in America, knowing that past, knowing that history, that crazy shit that they don't want to talk about. Like, they could be deep, dark family secrets, but I'm not saying I got to normalize that behavior, but I'm sure my family ain't the only case of that happening. You feel me? Especially in province life in the Philippines. So I think it's just very interesting, and like, that's kind of like where I'm at right now in terms of my art and how I've discovered what my art is and creativity was through like exercising these thoughts through ethnic studies in college, right? I went through a lot of like Filipino American classes taught by dope professors. It wasn't even my major or nothing, but it affected me so much that like it became what was already a part of me, which was my music. You know, I've been doing music since I was young type shit. So it's a crazy family story. Like, you know, we were talking about like, if I have a big family or not. And the answer is yes, but I don't be going to a lot of family parties and stuff because they're not really like around here.
Yeah.
You know, every time I go to the Philippines for show, I got my sisters who live in LA and New York, and my mom live out here in the Bay. You feel me? So like I got a family. It's just that they're not super connected. So I surround myself with chosen family a lot, especially out here in the Bay. You know,
that's how it happens. I mean, luckily, a lot of my family, because my mom is one of 10, and that was one of the largest numbers of siblings that I ever heard of until you just said 18 over there, which is many.
They're like
me.
half siblings / real siblings too, because they got the same dad but a different mom, but their moms are sisters, right? So how do you consider that, right?
Dude, in the Philippines, I mean, it's the Catholicism. You know, they're just out there reproducing in the name of God.
But they're also doing exactly what they're not supposed to, anyways, too, like sinning. It's so crazy. You know what I mean? They don't even got no like what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Healthcare for safe sex type shit. Like they don't believe in like birth control.
Oh, contraceptives.
Yeah, contraceptives. Exactly.
Yeah, it's because like they're like which is kind of conflicting because in Catholicism it's no sex before marriage, and then a lot of Filipinos even before they get married they still have sex, but they're just like no condom. Condom. They don't even know what birth control is. They think BC stands for before Christ.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, so my mom has hella siblings, and luckily a lot of them moved. All of them, all 10 siblings live in California.
Wow.
Which is crazy. It took a while. You know how it is.
They all had kids too, though?
They all got kids. So I got like 30 cousins, dude. There's so many of us. And we're mostly all in California, but like a third of them moved to Vegas because I think that's like the new daily city over there.
Did you grow up seeing them? Like, grew up? Like, you don't have to be there around them the whole time, but you would like check in every couple of years or like once a year?
We saw each other weekly. Yeah. Because we all lived in Pittsburgh. Okay. I was born in San Francisco, grew up in Pittsburgh, Antioch. And it was one of those Filipino households.
Watched the Pacquiao fights.
We all lived down the street from each other. There'd be 3 families living under one household, and that really builds that closeness. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So you got, but you're originally from Seattle.
No, Washington D.C.
From
actually.
D.C.
Yeah,
okay.
DMV area.
Okay, gotcha.
DMV is like D.C., Maryland, Virginia. I like grew up in Maryland as a young, youthful person, and then my teenage years was in D.C. If you think of the DMV, like, you know, I show you on a map, it's a triangle that represents D.C., but then around that triangle is this big loop we call the Capital Beltway.
Okay.
And that Beltway runs through D.C., Virginia, and then Maryland, and in between all that is the Potomac River. So I grew up in Maryland, which would be like the equivalent to like, I would say like the closest city in East Bay, which is like San Leandro, not really Oakland. San Leandro would be like where I grew up in Maryland in correspondence to San Francisco, and then DC would be like San Francisco, and then Virginia would be like Marin County type shit. You know what I mean? But the Bay's cool like that because the Bay has its own shit, like the Bay and like Berkeley and then all over East Bay. But yeah, I grew up out there, and I moved out here in 2013. And then when I say like chosen family, like half the people that I really fuck with out here has been on your podcast.
Oh,
that's why I seen all these folks on here. I was like, oh, this podcast is valid. I gotta get on that joint because they have good conversations. And
I mean, you know a lot of FNG. You know a lot of like, you know Zaldi. You know Darrell Medellin. You know Stilo. You know all of them, man. Yeah. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to the Bay Area creative community.
I had to get on here. I had to be basic. I was like, damn, they all doing that shit. That bro seems hella cool. So like, and it seems like because since I know them, I feel like they was like their authentic self around you. You know what I mean? And it was hella cool. And just the people that you got on here are all like-minded, and like we share the same stratosphere. We're all different in our art and everything, but it's just they're so valid to me because there's so many artists out here in the Bay you could be hitting up and be having on this podcast and stuff. Like just this specific scene that you got right now is so important. It's like documenting where we're at right now and then where we're gonna be in like how many years from now is hella interesting to me. You know what I mean? Time's a crazy thing, bro. Yeah. That's why doing these type of projects is super dope. You feel me?
Dude, I appreciate it. I mean, it means
man, you got to get your flowers, bro.
It means a lot to hear. Sometimes I forget. I forget what I'm doing. I've said oftentimes that I feel like a side quest character in this Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I feel like an NPC. I'm the dude that you get quests from, you know, or you save your game.
You ever heard of the comic book called Marvels?
No,
but it's called Marvels, and it's like all the art is like painted and shit. But it's like it's what it is the tale of Marvel history from like the Human Torch, like the early days, and Namor all the way up until like X-Men in the 80s, told from the story of a journalist, photographer who sees things from his perspective, and he's like finally writing about it and stuff. And so this is a form of journalism, bro, and I hella fuck with journalism, bro. Like it could be biased, it could be manipulated, but it could also be very authentic and very telling. And my thing about that is like people tell stories their own way in their own style because everyone has their own lens on things, and that's just how it is. You know, to have unbiased narratives is super hard in our day, like today. You know what I mean? So the fact that you had like your clip of Grando, like when he's saying like you gotta be a good person.
Being a good person is super underrated. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think
super underrated, dude, now, man.
If anybody's watching this shit, being a good person takes you the furthest, bro.
And shit, like all that, bro. Like it's important. That shit's important. You know what I mean? Excuse me, fucking seltzer. And you know what? I had Longanisa this morning, so
shit,
Longanisa
damn.
burp. Sorry.
So no, now this room is gonna smell like seltzer, vape, and Longanisa. It's
Weed vape.
A weed vape. A whole cesspool of just different
It's like a
vapors up in
Filipino
here.
family party, honestly.
Yeah, no, but thank you for giving me my flowers, man. It means a lot. It's cool, dude, because the Bay Area is a hub for a lot of creative minds to collaborate rather than compete with each other. Yeah, there's healthy competition most of the time where you are inspired that those that you see doing great things rather than being like, oh man, I should be up there, not that person. So that's what I've been noticing from interviewing a lot of these people, right?
I be doing that too. I be hating.
Oh, do you?
Hella hard. Yeah, what the fuck?
And then you switch your mindset eventually?
It's both. It's like I be seeing people and I'm like, oh, I should. It gives me hope also. It's hating from like a perspective of like, oh, this fool's up there and he's made it that big with that work ethic and that talent. I'm like, I could definitely be up there type shit. Yeah. And the only reason I'm not is because I'm so fucking lazy. You feel me? Like
shit.
I just be smoking weed and chilling and shit. And I also like where my friends are at now and like how long we've known each other and how some of them are gone viral and everything. And I'm ready to make that step, but I'm also like terrified of it. Like,
why?
I know I'm talented enough. I know I'm good enough because like, what's up with the spotlight, bro? Like, it's like, that show eats you alive, you know? It's like, what do I really want? And that's what I'm putting in my music right now. It's like, what do I want from this art? Do I really want to, like, be on jet skis in Miami and shit? Like, hell yeah, I do want hella fucking money and shit, but I'm also very radical in, like, how I think and, like, you know, like, I know that's not very marketable to be, like, pro-Palestine or, like, anti-Israel or shit like that or just stick to your beliefs. Like, what it is, like, I have so many different spectrum of people around me that encapsulate so much. Like a lot of my mentors, especially this one rapper Bamboo, like that's my guy, and like I hella learned from him, and I just think about where he's at in his raps and what he talks about, like Brother Ali shit, Brother Lynch type shit, and it's just like I'm on that too, and then I'm also off my stoner weed shit, and so when I'm here in the Bay, it's just like I try to think about where I fit, and it's the real reason I don't fit out here, not in the Bay, in my opinion. Like I got a lot of more audience outside of the Bay, which is cool because I live here. I like being comfortable here and not like a celebrity or anything. But that's what I'm trying to say is like when I be hating on people, it's like I got to be critical of people because if I put that energy towards them, I also put it towards me. I can't be critical of people and then just size myself up all the time. Like, for sure, I think I'm the greatest fucking Filipino rapper all the time. Yeah, sure, whatever. But I also know where I fit in my ecosystem of artists, you know? I love hating on people. I love talking shit, bro. I'm from the East Coast, bro. You feel me? Like, when I came out here, it's all love and weed and peace and shit. Like, acid and mushrooms. I love that shit when I came here. But, bro, I grew up, like, DC, like, roast culture straight the fuck up. You know
Is that how it was growing up there as a kid?
Yeah, bro. And, like, you know, I'd be, like, probably one and the only... In my high school, I was only one out of 3 Asians. Everyone else was black.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. My first high school was a private school, kind of like... I would compare it to like I don't know. You ever heard of James Logan High School?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something like that, but not public. And then I transferred to the equivalent to like OSA in DC, art high school. And so, you know, I grew up tough, bro. Like, and I had to like hella tackle my identity. And when I moved out to the Bay, it was like, oh, there's hella Filipinos out here. I could hella shape who I am. And like, not only that, like, I didn't know about Filipino, like, California culture until I started joining, like, Filipino clubs in college type shit, and I see what these people are like.
What's the difference between Filipino California culture and Filipino DC culture?
Man, it's not, it's, you know, it's still, the roots is the same, right? But, like, you'll hear a lot more Filipino people, it's like, how do I say it? Like, it's not, this is so crazy to say, but, like, back in the day, it's definitely different now, kind of, I guess, but it wasn't cringe to hear a Filipino say the N-word on the East Coast, but when I hear it out here, when I first moved out here, I thought it was cringe because they're mostly surrounded by other Filipinos. And what I mean by that, like growing up getting the N-word pass as a Filipino was because you was around that shit. And you would get beat up if motherfuckers don't know you or they think you're whack or some shit. Out here, like, and this is just one example, you know what I mean, when it comes to that whole vocabulary thing. Like, I hear everyone saying that shit, Mexicans, Polynesians,
to this day,
Asians.
I'm not hearing it a lot now.
Not as much now.
The 2010s, man. That shit was being thrown around.
But I am a teacher at a high school in El Cerrito. Everyone still says that shit.
Wow, in El Cerrito.
Man, Latino kids, black kids, let them say it. Because it's like, what the fuck, you know? I mean, you really want to stand on business and beat someone up for that shit, then you'll do it. But I think the people that are bold enough to say it because they're comfortable in their environment.
Yeah,
who they're with. I used to say this shit all the time because I was the only Filipino kid, right?
Yeah.
And no one would think twice about me saying it around all my black friends and shit. When I moved out here, I didn't say that shit. I knew better moving out here.
You knew to play it safe.
Yeah, because, and then I see, when I moved out here, bro, I was an outsider. So I was observing the culture here. The best thing I ever did was I went to City College in San Francisco.
Okay.
All locals. So I seen the culture. I seen what people were like. I seen there's not a lot of black people out here. There is, but there's the dominant culture is still black. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like when I saw that I'm freestyling with white boys on MF Doom beats right outside of the Science Building in City College, and I see other Asian fools, like hella Asians, but then they also act black too, don't get me wrong. And then you know, Latino kids too. I was like, oh, it's different. It's a melting pot in the Bay. Yeah. Like I felt that in San Francisco. I felt that when I would come out to Oakland, First Fridays and stuff like that. DC, we're all together too, but it's a little more like people have their own areas and are divided in that sense. But people would still cross paths. But like, you know, DC was like, it's like also like it changes depending on who the president is too. You know what I mean? And like, people got to remember too, DC was built by black people also, slaves and shit types of, you know what I mean? Like people were living in the alleyways that I was biking through. So when I moved out here, I was just trying to like figure out how did Filipinos get like this, and that was just through the immigration story, you know, one of the ways of immigration type shit. And they're all professionals. Like out here, like the Filipinos, like they're nurses, doctors, fucking veterans, you know, type shit. They were in the army and everything. And I feel like in the ones in DC, there's a lot of veterans out there too, but like I think they were out there a lot earlier coming from New Orleans, you know what I mean? So
I see.
That's weird to say too, because I think there's hella generations of Filipinos out here also.
Oh yeah, I mean we got a lot of Navy people
yeah.
that would jump ship in San Francisco and then just kind of build a family here.
So it's interesting how when you ask me like what the difference is in the culture, it's like it's really hard to say. Like it's very similar. And the way the internet has homogenized culture in general is interesting to me too, because like, you know how glizzy's like a hot dog?
Yeah.
How people are saying this shit? That's just slang from DC, bro. That's originally a DC term. When I heard people start saying it on the internet and Twitter, I was like, wow, that's interesting. I guess it
traveled that far.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy that hot dog has a slang.
Exactly.
You know?
Hot dog, hella. Everyone says hella now, in my opinion, because it
that really
out.
traveled, dude. Back in like the early 2000s and 2010s, it was more of a niche thing. But now it's definitely like traveled all the way to New York. Even New York slang has traveled all the way over here.
And that's because of social media, internet, music, you could say. And that's cool. Don't get me wrong. That's hella cool. So like you said, like nowadays you don't hear much people saying the N-word because of cultural acceptance and like where our political climate has gone and people just being more aware of sensitivity and people being offended, which is a great thing. I just think it's all similar now. It's funny. I'm about to go to DC in 2 weeks, bro. So I'm about to check it out because I haven't been back in like 3 years type shit. Every time I visit, it's like been a different president too, and like different homies are doing different things. I don't go back a lot, you know what I mean? So every time I go back, I try to make it to like I could feel the city again, feel the area, see what's up. I try to keep up on Instagram and everything. But yeah, I'm going back. I'm gonna see what's good.
It's interesting. Like I'm curious. I don't think I really know a lot of people from Maryland specifically, or even the DC area. So like I'm curious as to like what was your childhood like there? I know that you started playing violin at like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting to do as one of 3 Filipino kids in a predominantly black community where you're just like, I'm gonna pick up the violin.
Yeah, for sure. And what's crazy is like it's so funny when I hang out in very black spaces out here Whether it is I perform with the homies from Soul Development, they take me to the craziest, like in Sacramento or Oakland or like the Black Panther Festival. Like it makes me feel like home because that's what I was surrounded by growing up on the East Coast, right? I was surrounded by Black community, Black family, Black shopping malls, all that shit. All my classmates were Black, and picking the violin, it was just like something to do type shit. You know what I mean? I was I was like 6 years old. I grew up. My dad was a musician, so there's music in my household like since I was born. My sister's my older sister's a dancer, so they just wanted me to do arts and shit. And that's what I'm always proud of. That I'm very happy with my parents. They like let me pursue art. You know what I mean? Like I could have done sports more. I could have really focused on the academics, but they're a very artsy like. We like watch movies and shit and like stuff like that.
Did they want you to have a safety net of an occupation and have just violin and saxophone and music as kind of a side thing?
I think they just let the ball roll, see what I would choose type shit.
That's really cool.
You
See,
know
that's
what I mean?
extremely unconventional, especially for a Filipino
exactly.
family.
My mom and dad were both immigrants, but they moved here when they were very young. Like
So
my
they
dad was
understood.
like a senior in high school when he moved here, escaping Marcos and shit. And then my mom came here for a master's. She went to University of Maryland. So very impressionable at that age. So they've acclimated to this American shit, you know, since they're young. And like I said, I'm the youngest. So they tried it with my older two sisters and see what they wanted to do and stuff like that. So I think
they went through two trials before you.
For sure. And then like it all changed in the 4th grade when I started playing saxophone. I did piano before that a little bit. You know, I went to school. I was like into video games and shit like that too.
Did you start with the tenor sax?
Alto was the first.
And now, because now you rock a soprano sax, which is fucking dope.
I rock all three, but mostly, you know why I rock the soprano the most? It's the easiest to carry around.
Portable, dude. I mean, it's just like it's a golden clarinet.
Straight up,
I
bro.
connect with you because violin was my first instrument. I started playing that shit when I was in the 4th grade. I was given the option between that and piano. I was just like, violin seems cool.
Yeah.
I was homeboy that had the stickers so that I could get the fingerings
Yep,
correct.
exactly
You know.
where to go. You ever seen The Red Violin? You ever heard of that movie?
No, what is that?
So it's this movie with Samuel L. Jackson, and like I watched it as a kid. I shouldn't have watched it. It's so inappropriate. Like I watched hella inappropriate movies as a
We
kid.
all did.
Yeah, because my parents didn't give a fuck, right? But anyways, it's this movie about this violin that goes through hella different cultures and generations and is getting auctioned off at some shit. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but you should check it out. But the story of how it's made and the different, it goes to like an Asian country and Italian country through different owners, and it comes back to modern day. But you should check it out. But that was a big. I was like, oh, I want to play violin just like that type of shit. So like, it's like I saw you talk about this with Too Easy, but like movies and music was a big thing for me growing up and just hella like impacted me, you know what I mean? And then discovering what the real world was like a whole nother movie. Yeah, that's when I was 18 years old, you feel me? So growing up with sensationalized like ideas of life was because of like the media we were consuming in the 90s and stuff and like 2000s and everything. That's why my parents just like that shit because my parents had like very serious jobs. Like my dad was a lawyer, my mom was the EA, executive assistant to like some person in DC and shit. So
damn, dude.
when we were at home, like we would just like watch movies, and then that's how my sister became a professional dancer too. So it's like super. Our path, like you said, as a modern Filipino, what's like normal for a Filipino family and what the values they instilled on us. Like, no, they wanted me to do good at school. Don't get me wrong, but they were happy I was playing sax and like my
and
dad
you
was happy.
stuck with it, and you're sticking with it to this day.
And I think it's because that path probably wasn't open for them when they moved here. So that they, you know how they lived through us, and like I've seen Happy Slip talk about this, where she was like, what did she say? She was like, why does your mom like cut the paper towel in half type shit? You know what I mean? To like save them, whatever. It's just they want to give you what they never had, right? And I guess what they didn't have, they were into the arts. They just couldn't make it like their profession. Yeah. So I feel like that's why they try to at least let us try. You know,
that's
what
cool.
mean?
I mean, because typically, because your parents are working those. The expectation of what a Filipino should achieve.
Those provider jobs.
Right, the provider jobs. And to let their kids pursue whatever they want, that you never hear about that because my parents, they're both accountants.
Yeah.
And they've worked at the same company for 30 plus years until they retired, right? Yeah. And they expect the same from me. They said, I mean, they allowed me to be artistic, right?
Yeah.
That's why I asked you, like, did they let you choose music over everything else, or was it more of a side quest thing? Because for me, it was like, hey, Christian, get a good job and then do whatever the fuck you want, you know?
Yeah, they wanted you to have that safety
I
first.
told my dad I wanted to be a wedding singer when I was a kid because I probably watched The Wedding Singer and I loved singing and I loved romantic shit. So I was just
Did he give you shit for it or what?
he said, yeah, you could be that if you just want to get paid in wedding cake. And then he's just like, or you could get a better job and, you know, that could fund your band equipment and you could go do that on the side and whatnot. So
I think looking back, their parents did the same thing to them. So they probably did it easier on me because I remember my dad, he was a philosophy major. And then he told me his dad gave him so much shit for it. He was like, give me the newspaper right now. He's like, where's a philosopher on the yellow pages type shit? You know what I mean? Like,
Whoa.
so and, you know, eventually he did get his philosophy degree, but then he went to law school, you know, type shit. But I think like if they got it from their parents so hard on like making it, you know, and that's the whole point of them coming to America, right? Was that we would have different opportunities and stuff. Like we have a lot of freedoms and a lot of privilege being a Filipino American. So I'm trying to use that to the fullest, you know.
no, and that's
sure.
good that you're aware of it.
Hell
it comes
yeah.
with perks, especially in
A lot of people are ignorant to that shit.
Yeah,
you know, for sure.
In this day and age, like there is a lot of and you know, yeah, growing up brown comes with microaggressions growing up. I mean, because I grew up in Pittsburgh, Antioch, which was predominantly brown, but then I moved to Benicia in the 7th grade, and that's where I felt some microaggressions and kind of like being like the token whatever, right?
Was it mostly white out there?
Mostly
in
white.
Benicia?
Mostly
Okay.
white. Then we had some like Asians here and there, but like they never see. The people thought I was from the Philippines type thing.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
straight up.
Yeah. Rumor spread that Christian was from the Philippines.
He came on a boat in a cage.
Yeah, he doesn't write with pencils. He writes with the bamboo sticks.
He eats with his hands, you know?
Yeah, he sits like this in the quad. He's like that. But growing now that I'm older, there's perks to being brown.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting the hookup because I am Filipino.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's beautiful, you know?
Community type shit. You got built, it grew, right?
Yeah. Strangers, Filipino strangers aren't actually strangers. We have a similar background. You and I just met less than an hour ago, but we have so much to connect on because we're both Filipino American.
Yeah.
So
he was born
it's
here,
beautiful.
right?
I was born in San Francisco. Yeah.
For sure.
Talk to me about childhood in DC. What did you do for fun?
Before weed was
Unless you were smoking at 2 years old, dude.
summer camps in the summer, ice rinks. We had ice rink. We have 4 seasons in DC, so like our 4th of July was always cracking because it's the capital.
Yeah.
We would go out there in the lawn, watch fireworks, and then eventually when we got older, we would get lit as fuck, watch the fireworks. We had the biggest fireworks in the whole country type shit. I just remember, like, bro, like DC, like in kindergarten, I remember the election. We did a mock election. I was like fucking like 6 years old, and I saw it was Al Gore, George Bush.
They're teaching you this shit at 6 years old?
I mean, bro, we live in DC. Like, we gotta know what's
I
happening.
guess so.
The election's happening, right? And because of that, we're kind of stuck in the middle of the news, and like we know everything that's happening in the country type shit. Half the people are lobbyists or congressmen, and then like people our age, instead of tech workers out here, they work on Capitol Hill as interns. You know?
Wow.
So think about how different the landscape is in that area. 4 hours away is New York. That's where my sister wanted to go. She dance on Broadway and shit. She's like, I'm fucking leaving DC. I'm gonna dance in New York because that's a very art cultivated area, right? In DC, like I said, so like 2000. I was like, all right, George Bush, Al Gore. Then like fucking, we got to recount Al Gore shit. It was just like, okay, there's a lot going on. I had 8 years of George Bush as president and like the war in Iraq and like all these Bush like politics was ruling my childhood type shit and like just the way I was moving and shit and like going. I grew up. I did Catholic middle school, you know, Eucharist, all that. What's it called? Uniforms. But that's why I started playing saxophone though, because they had a little band program or whatever.
Okay.
It's cool. It's still very hood though. Like it's like, you know, they would make us go to like pro-life marches and shit. And like looking back at it, it's just like, wow, it was very conservative.
Yeah,
right?
wow.
And I didn't realize it until maybe like I obviously went to a public high school my junior year. But like, you know, when I'm in college and I look back at the things that I would do in like those Catholic middle school and like high school and the like chastity day, and they're really like don't
There's
have
a
sex.
chastity day?
Yeah, like don't have sex before marriage, like type shit.
How old
Don't
were
have
you when you first
abortion.
heard of Chastity Day?
7th grade,
Okay,
6th grade.
that's old enough. I thought you were gonna say 7. I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't even know what that is.
It changes after like the 5th grade. Like it's very interesting, you know. And I remember my mom was there. And the person running Chastity Day, he was like, I'm 30 years old. I'm still a virgin. And then I remember we were in the car ride. After that, my mom was like, yeah, don't. He's a loser. Like, she was like, I looked at all the other parents when he said that. We were like,
fucking
all
nerd.
laughing. Yeah, I was like, okay.
You don't know what you're missing out.
Yeah. So, and then when I get to my public high school, so I transferred out of another Catholic high school. First 2 years, great band program, great basketball program, a lot of athletes, NBA athletes came from there type shit. Because PG County, Maryland is where Kevin Durant's from. A lot of hoopers are from PG County, Maryland. Anyways, yeah, it was cool. But I wasn't doing good at math there. So I was like, yo, fuck this shit. I'm not doing good. My parents just got divorced. Now they split up. We're about to lose the house. My mom moved to the city of DC. She's like, do you want to go to this art high school, Duke Ellington School of the Arts? Yeah. Where like Dave Chappelle went and stuff. And I went. You know, you got to go through a metal detector. Like they offer STD testing there and shit like that. All these different resources that I wouldn't get at like people would get expelled from fucking my Catholic high school for like having sex, like on campus, right? And I go to the fucking DC public school. I'm like, they're just like, be safe, like don't get caught.
You can go ahead and do it.
Fucking all over the school type shit. You know what I mean? They weren't saying that, but like it was very different. And I was just like, once that switch happened in me, and I'm like, oh, you can live like this. Oh, you could take public transportation to your house other than getting picked up from high school and shit, and you could do whatever the fuck you want. I went crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I went so... I turned the fuck up, you know what I mean?
What did you do specifically?
No, I would just get high. We would just have fun, like rob stores or whatever, just cause we're kids. Like, you know, it was just like, so it was like the city was our jungle, and I couldn't do that in Maryland because you need a car. It's like living out here type shit, you know.
But
what
over
I mean?
there, you were able to just walk outside with your homies after school.
Yeah, it's like living in SF, but in DC. Fucking, you can't get caught on federal property to watch out. I was smoking behind the embassies in Rock Creek Park. I was Greece embassy, blah blah. We just fucking kids in the park smoking weed and shit. You know what I mean? It's hella funny.
Wow.
And then like,
how old are you?
I'm 29, bro. I'm about to be the big 3-0
Nice.
in June 18th. You feel me?
Oh shit, our birthdays are close to each other. I'm June 30. So
you're Cancer then, right?
Yeah,
For
dude.
sure. You got the same birthday as my sister, actually.
June 30th?
Yeah.
Does she cry all the time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's emotional. She emotional. She just had a kid, so shout out my niece, Keita Rose. I'm about to see you 2 weeks, girl. Hey.
Nice.
But yeah, so like, it's so funny, bro. Like, things changed in 2008 when Obama became president, and like, that was hella fun. Like, it was such a switch from Bush.
In what ways did they change for you at that age and in that environment?
Oh, black people were up. Like black, brown people, we were up. It was just like all my life, all I knew was the white man was on top, and that's through George Bush, and like seeing people like criticize him was very interesting to me. Like watching like The Daily Show and stuff like that, and it was, like I said, interesting to me because like it's right in our backyard. You know what I mean? Like
that does change things.
9/11, you can see the smoke from the Pentagon type shit. We would go home. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, you
That's
know,
crazy.
that shit's insane, right? And so. And like New York's not that far from us, so we all felt that shit. I felt that I was 6 years old, and I still felt that shit. I was like, damn, that's a crazy thing that happened, and now we're going to war. Like that's insane, you know. And we would know people that would like go to fucking Iraq and shit. And like I would go to a Filipino restaurant, you know, the ones where they like you could just pick what you want, put it in a plate, and then I would see like their like grandsons is like in the desert type shit in full gear, like, oh, come back safe type shit, support our troops and everything. And I was like, very interesting, you know. It wasn't until college, bro, that I became so like aware of that, but then like critical of like the American government and like just the way we move, you know, because I felt patriotic. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, yeah, you know. And then you rewatch 9/11 clips these days, and the people, they're like, dude, we gotta fucking invade them. Like these people on the streets right after we got attacked, right? And then when I think about like research on like Palestine-Israel conflict, or then I just watch Attack on Titan, you know what I mean? Like I think of the cause and effect of things. Why did we get fucking bombed in New York? You know, and it's just like, what the fuck did we do to their country type shit? Like, how is terrorism born and type shit, you know? So those values and shit I grew up with, I just wasn't aware I was exposed to that. And then when I came here to the Bay and I was able to like formulate my mind and get it together and realize where I came from, and because moving out here, bro, I never lost my identity as a DC resident. I was never, and I'm never like ever gonna claim the Bay as like where I grew up. Technically now, I moved here when I was 18.
You
so
said it was
I've been here
home
a minute.
for now, right?
Yeah, I've been out here for a minute, bro, and I want to stay here for a minute too because I really love it. I love the Bay Area, but I know how big of my identity is as a person and my upbringing is growing up out there in the DMV because it's like the Bay, bro. Like in the West Coast, people think of LA, so the Bay's always fighting for its like its place in the culture.
Yeah.
And the same thing in DC, bro. Like San Francisco 7 by 7 miles, DC's 4 by 4 miles. We hella small, bro. So we always fighting for our culture and like our identity and who we are in the East Coast next to Philly, North Carolina, fucking Chicago and New York. Like where do we fit in all that, right? And the truth is we're declined. We're not declined. We're neglected. You feel me, bro? Bro, we get taxed. We got no seat in Congress. Our license plate says taxation without representation, right?
Wow.
We're not even technically a state or nothing, right? You feel me? We're like the Vatican. So think about the underserved communities in that area, in DC and stuff. And you already know what it's like out here in the Bay where we got hella resources.
That right there at the Capitol, that resources aren't as provided, or there's not enough attention is given to the backyard of the Capitol, right?
Exactly. Community will always come together. There's always places for people. But I remember growing up, we would have to volunteer at spots for a homeless shelter or just shelters in general, you know what I mean? And it's so interesting. I would take trips to San Francisco growing up, and because my auntie lived out here, and first time I came out here, I told my mom, I was like, there's white homeless people? I didn't realize
You're
that.
surprised.
And then my mom was like, sometimes they choose to be like that out here in San Francisco. I was like, they could just sleep on the streets. I was like, oh, interesting. Because, when I'm in DC, we call them, it's funny, we call them unks. We used to call them unks, crackheads. And now it's a term of endearment. Unk is like
just like an older dude.
But you see an unk on the street, like you're like, oh, that's a crackhead from the 80s type shit. Fuck. They just survived. When I was in high school in like the 2010s, it was like, you see an unk and like, it's just because like, that's where LaDroit Park, like one of the first places where crack was in DC. And a lot of those people are still alive. You know what I mean? I don't know about now. It's 2025 type shit. But
at the time, they lived through that era.
So, and then I come out here. I live in the Tenderloin. That's where I moved. People are like, "Oh my god, you live in Tenderloin." I'm like, "This should remind me of home." But this reminds me.
It's
of, like,
nothing. Nothing new to you.
DC, yeah, for sure. And it's funny because like it's such an enclosed area. I still live there too. I still live very Tenderloin adjacent. I won't say exactly, but I'm like right there. I see it all day, every day. I watch out for shit on the sidewalk every day. You know what I mean? But it makes me, it grounds me, it humbles me, because like I may not be living in those conditions, but like that is what I came from and what I'm surrounded by. And I my day job is I bartend for like catering parties.
Nice.
And I see the richest of the rich. And
God, and you see how they act differently too.
And I be getting annoyed, but then I'll also be getting jealous, and I just be like, wow, I'm very blessed to have seen it all.
Yeah.
I've
You've seen all ends of the spectrum,
bro.
dude.
Even the Philippines, bro. Don't get me started, bro.
I've said many times on this podcast that I haven't been to the Philippines yet, and every single Filipino guest that I've had, they always just say like, "What, you haven't been?"
You should check it out.
I mean, because I'm super proud of our culture and like what my ancestors have fought through just to get me here in this of all places, California, which is number whatever in economically, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. The amount of opportunities I've been given just because like my grandparents worked really hard to raise their kids.
Yeah.
My parents worked hard to get here. That's fucking insane.
It'll change your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I hear.
It'll change your life, bro.
My brother went and he said like he would get kind of like emotional when he would see the poorer areas.
Yeah, you're going to be in a car and you're going to see a kid that looked just like you trying to sell you garlic. They look just like your fucking cousin or whatever, bro. Like Filipino people, when someone's Filipino, right? Filipino, sorry. When you go out there, bro, you go, damn, I don't know what it's like to go. Like, how old are you, bro?
I'm 31.
Yeah, so like at your age, like it's probably gonna be so crazy, bro. I've been going out there since I was like in the first grade type shit.
So you've kind of had
I've had
this
that struggle
impression of it.
I've had that conversation with myself about living in America, and then like it's also changed. Like the older I get, now I'm in my 20s and 30s. I'll be like, man, you motherfucking cousins over there are so fucking spoiled because the dollar is a lot less out there. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I have different family out there that are super rich and super not poor, but like they're not poverty out there. But I've seen different family in different positions out there, and so it's my relationship with that has changed growing up because I think I have it harder out here in America because it's so expensive out here, bro. Like, you know, I'm not like super rich or anything. And I think, damn, if I live, it's so fucked up because and they're thinking they should move out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, but you know, people still live there for a reason. Yeah. You know, you can make it out there and shit. But it's such an interesting. You're gonna go out there, bro. You're gonna see the white man out there. You're gonna see the white man with like a 12-year-old girlfriend type shit.
Yeah, man.
You're gonna see you're gonna see a lot of these things that you hear about, and you just gotta. I don't want to like preface it for you. We gotta have a podcast after you go. I really want to hear what your opinion is.
I hear a lot of stuff. My brother said that he went there. This group of kids came up to him. They're just like, "Hey, you want us to hunt some sea urchins for you?" I'm like, "You can't do that in North
like
Beach.
50 cents, bro.
They'll do it for hella cheap. They'll go like they are hunter gatherers out there, and they're really. But also, what I understand is that. A simple life for them is a happy life. They don't need much to be happy. Yet here, I got this roof. I got this cup of water, of clean water in my hand. I had food today, and I'm still stressing out about these first world issues. And then I have to take a step back. That is freedom, and I have to think about like all the people. Outside of my situation in countries that don't have resources, that they're fighting for much less. They're fighting so much harder for much less, and yet they're still happier than me. What's up with that?
That's why I go back to Attack on Titan, because I'm just like, the more you know and the smarter you get, the more you suffer, right? The more miserable you are, and like the rich, it's like, and then you got to choose where you are in life and shit. But then you want to, it's like a human thing. You thirst for that knowledge. You want to learn about the Palestinian-Israel conflict. And you're like, fuck, I live in the country that funded that shit, right? It's like, how do you grapple with that emotions? And like, are you a fraud for still living here? You know what I mean? And that's why I always refer to my radical, like communist homies or like anarchist homies. And I just try to think like, how do I fit in that as Rocky G? And like, what do I believe? Am I really about to be in a militia type shit? You know what I mean? Because I know folks in the Philippines that really fight that shit. Really fight that power. And like, I know people whose peoples have died, like fighting the government in the Philippines and shit like that. So it's just like, now that I have this knowledge of stuff, it's like, what do I do, bro? Honestly, because like the internet has opened this vast of knowledge that like, has destroyed our brains. I always think Kanye has like he was like he just seen too much art. He got exposed to too much shit. He got too much money for his fucking brain. Like, you know what I mean? He went crazy. And I think about like if Tupac was alive right now in the age of the internet, I think that motherfucker would go crazy, bro. You know what I mean?
Fame at an early age, especially mixed with tragic loss, like the loss of Kanye's mom.
You know what I mean?
Which was like the catalyst for his like mental decline.
Probably, yeah, for sure. And then he married Kim K, and it's all documented, right? And it's just like, all right, so that's why I be hated. That's why you asked me earlier. We were talking about earlier, like, do I really want to be famous? Like, am I cool in my pocket right now with like just some hardcore dedicated fans? And like, how easy do I want life to be for me? Like, do I want to sell out to live good on earth? To affect my spirit? Like, is there afterlife type shit? You know, should I just enjoy my time right now? You know, or should I keep going to these protests? Should I keep using my platform? Happy? Yeah, for sure. I'm very happy, bro. Like, I am super happy to how far my art has come. Like, for sure. Like, they study it. They study like songs in college and shit. Every time one of my homies in a class is like, "Hey, we're studying your song today," I'm like, "That's fucking fire, so bro!" Like, dope. That's sick. Or anytime people go up to me like, "I like your music," or like, "Can you sign this vinyl?" Like, it's not on like no Hollywood level, but I'm like, that's how I know it's fucking dope because I hella put effort into my music and what I say into it. And for the people that catch it and listen to it and they find me and they tell me or they message me on Instagram, that means the world to me because I'm like, okay, it's working. You know, I don't gotta just like make a fucking slapper. Yeah. Just because, you know, I want to and like do TikToks on or whatever. Like, it's just like what I'm doing is actually hitting some people. Yeah. And at least I have the knowledge to know that. You know what I mean? Some people will never know that probably. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that information doesn't come back to them, you know? I just had Casey Cope on 2 days ago and, you know, that guy's dope. That guy's like mad talented.
I saw him perform at the F&G show. Killed it.
Yeah, he was just saying that he had performed alongside them, and I was giving him his flowers, and I was telling him that I'm situated in circles that those people give him his flowers too. They're just like, hey man, Casey Cope's dope as fuck, and he was telling me like, man, that's crazy because like that information does not ever get back to me. And it sucks, you know? I mean, which is why it's so important. A lot of people say, Christian, you're too nice, and I pay compliments a lot. But, like, you know, I'm just transparent. I'm a fucking Cancer.
Yeah.
I'm just transparent. Like, if I like your shit,
You tell them.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there could be, like, other Casey Copes out there that never know that they're dope.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes you just need that little bit of fucking ego boost to keep going, and then it's going to touch a lot of lives.
So I'm a Gemini, so I hunt for those compliments. I look for it. I want that.
Tell me something good.
After I perform, I'm ready to network and talk to people because I want to be approachable where they could be like, they could tell me that shit. And then I'm like, all right, let's build from this. I'm your Instagram. What do you do? Like, let's see if we can collab on something type shit. Because if I perform somewhere, I gotta at least get like 5 to 10 new Instagram followers from that performance.
Oh wow, you're really thinking
from that shit? Yeah, bro. All my IG shit is built from like, I'm gonna say shows. Like I've had a couple viral posts, but my whole growth has always come from performances. I think, and then connecting with them afterwards, try to talk to them. I remember I got so mad at this girl I used to date because after performance, she was like, "Let's go to the club right now." I'm like, you gotta give me like 40 minutes to talk to people here. I need to talk to the people after this performance. And I got so pissed. I was like, I'm at this fucking club right now when I could be like at least getting more. You know, I hate leaving performances, but at least getting some sort of thing. You know, it's not even just the compliments. Like I said, it's you gotta build, bro. And like 6 to 7 years later, those same people would be like, dude, I saw you perform at that thing, whatever, hell long ago, and I probably won't even remember it. And I'd be like, all right, cool, like let's good to reconnect with you. Let's build on that type shit. Yeah. That's how I know that method has been working. But you know, I would love to go viral and all that shit, but I like to consider myself like a really cool secret, you know what I mean, in my Frax and Ozers and like all these F&G folks that I love that are killing it right now. I like to be like hidden or I'm on that, you know what I mean? For some reason, it's
dude,
some
you're like
shit.
noob Cybot.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah,
you got an unlockable character,
sleeper agent.
That's interesting. I connect with that too because sometimes like I'd be pulling up to shows, you know, because I sing every now and then, and I do stand up comedy, or I just go to shows to pull up on the homies and just like. Yeah. And like just shoot the shit. And sometimes I bring some of my homies that are like not creatives. I bring my fiance. I bring some of my best homies from high school that aren't in that space. Yeah. And it's a bittersweet thing because, you know, I'm respectful of their time because they're not going to want to hang around for 30 minutes afterwards just to talk to these people that they don't know, that they don't want to network with. But like, and I kind of want to chop it up, but like, I gotta be like, I gotta dip out because like, you know, homegirl's hungry and like homeboy has work tomorrow type thing. Yeah. Saxophone and rapping. You said in an interview before that you don't like to over promote one over the other. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, like, does it ever make you feel a type of way when someone views you as just as an instrumentalist more so than a rapper, or more so than a rapper, and they find out later on that you play instruments?
Nah, it's kind of funny. Like I love it, low key. Look, I've never had that. What's it called? That feeling of resentment whenever someone would label me or try to promote me and be like, oh, he's a sax player, or oh, he's a Asian rapper type shit, or he's a sax player that rap. I would just be like, no, that's what I do. Like, I was like, yeah, that's what I really do those shit. So it's like for me to be offended and like, or like be like, oh no, you don't misinterpret like what I am or what I do. It's really hard because I be doing it all. Yeah. So I get it would be hard for someone to kind of like say what I am because I make it that way. Like on my IG, like I'll play piano, I'll play sax, but then I'll rap a lot at my shows and people would know I'm a good fucking rapper and shit. So like it's my more worries was about like, would people take me seriously as a rapper? But that all went away quickly when I moved out here because no one knows me. Mm-hmm. I moved out here when I was 18 years old, bro. So no one could big bro or little bro me back home in DC because people knew me since I was like a kid, right? Yeah. And I got that feeling. I was like, I don't know if I could make it out here if I really pursue that. But I didn't have that fear because I knew I would move out here when I was 18 after high school. So I was like, okay, I'm going to this lit area. Weed is so cheap out here. Good weed. I could smoke weed in public. I was like, okay, there's some rappers out here. There's some hip hop history and shit. And I just got thrown into this environment. Like the Bay Area 2013 was very interesting. Like HBK was like coming up. Sage the Gemini was just popping off. it was popping here in the Bay, and I was like, okay, like I'm in this shit. You know what I mean? I gotta just embrace it. So like, what I could do was show them like, oh, I got hot bars, but then like, oh, I'm a jazz trained saxophone player too. So like, let me kill it really quick. And they were like, whoa, like we never really seen that, you know?
Because I think that's dope. I think that gets your foot in the door into rooms faster than you just being a rapper, man. Because. And vice versa, you know?
Yeah.
If you're rapping and then like you also take out the saxophone, they'll be like, oh shit. Like now there's more of a reason for them to be able to like utilize you in any different space, right?
And take me seriously too and be like, oh, he really like focuses on his work. Like, and he's like rapping and playing sax type shit, you know?
That's how I feel. I feel like growing up playing instruments like I did and like learning how to read sheet music because I did orchestra and I did marching band and I did drum line and I understand the discipline that comes with whenever I see someone else in this space, in this community that is an instrumentalist, whether it be saxophone or like a drummer or like a piano player, right? I'm like, okay, you're going to apply the discipline and the discipline and work ethic it takes to learn this instrument, read sheet music, learn theory.
It took time.
And then apply it into raps.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. I rap how I play my sax, like rhythmically. Like
nice.
I rap really how I think about when I like improv on sax type shit. If I can't, I try not to overexert myself or over rap or anything, you know. But I'm like, if I can hit this pocket on the sax, I can hit it in my raps type shit.
Dude, it's important, man. Like, if I mean, I
could be a lot better at saxophone. I'm not the greatest saxophone player, bro. I should be way better, bro. But like, man, I spent more time smoking weed, freestyling in the woods than in the practice rooms. And I also was 19 years old when I saw Whiplash, bro.
Wow.
I was like,
a scar you or something?
Well, like, yeah, I was like, I chose the right decision because I could have gone to Berkeley in Boston, bro, and like that would have been a great time, and I could have
$60K a year.
Could have done hip hop. Yeah, it was very expensive, and then you know, just living this hippie lifestyle out here in SF, I was like, all right, you know, let me just embrace it. But when I saw Whiplash, I was like, I'm not obsessive of like wanting to be the best sax player.
Yeah.
I want to make the music that I want to make, and that's what I told myself at 18, I was like, I'm going to just do what the fuck I want to do, you know? And it's kind of changed my style of like different music I've been trying to make lately. But in the core of it, it's really just jazz and hip hop. That's my, and I got this project coming up that you guys will hear soon. I'm dropping it around my birthday. You'll see what I mean. But I'm very back to formula. My last album, bro, I was super experimental. So this album is like super hip hop and jazz. Like
interesting, yeah, because Dimensions is different.
For sure.
It does have a different feel, and I really really like it. You got Too Easy up in there. You got a lot of FNG. Yeah, I like what you did with the female vocalists on there, like Lady Oflo, Ash, and Sunday. Yeah. I might be missing a few too. But
yeah, I got my homegirl Stoney on track too.
Stoney's on there.
I wanted to work with a lot of women for that project for sure, but then also a lot of the producers was just in our realm. That was a great album to work. It was a very collaborative effort on that album, and that's why it's a bunch of different styles. This next joint I got coming up is like straight me on some hot beats, scratches, some saxophone, and it's just some fire, bro. It's 5 songs of some kick-ass shit, bro.
I'm excited for it. Your voice and your sound, it's obvious that you listen to a lot of like old hip hop, a lot of like 90s hip hop and whatnot. And I've heard you talk on other interviews about like, you know, modern hip hop as well. You know, you love your Kendrick.
Oh yeah. May 29th, I'm about to go to his concert. That shit about to be fire.
Oh, man, you're so lucky, dude. I haven't seen Kendrick live. Oh, I saw Kendrick live Outside Lands, whenever the fuck that was. 2023.
I was there.
That one? You went to that one?
Yeah, he had like little Kendricks dancing around him with his like, you remember that, bro? He had like little dancers with faces on his mask.
Couldn't enjoy the concert because my brother gave me an edible.
He was lit.
Maybe 2 hours prior. And I was freaking the fuck out because I told you I don't really smoke. I mean, being in that big of a crowd, I've talked about this before, but I'll tell you again. Being in that big of a crowd with like, so I date like a 4'11" Filipino girl.
Yeah.
I could lose her. Yeah. Especially, do you know how many 4'11" Filipino girls are out in fucking outside land?
Chained.
Yeah, dude, with that many people. Also, I'm getting claustrophobic. Also, I had to take a shit. Have you ever had to take a shit while super high at a festival? The most scary thing. So I couldn't enjoy it, and it was like, an hour or two before Kendrick came on. But that's a sidebar. So
yeah, you know, it's all good. But yeah, I'm a big fan because he's a writer, bro. Like I love the way he writes. I love his poetry, and like, you know, a lot of flaws in his like how people say people could be critical of his politics too, but it's just like I love his art, bro. Like you know, I mean, I'm very critical of like, or not even critical, bro. Like I'm so aware of how people feel about things in terms. I'm also very interested in like when it comes to mainstream celebrities and people that are famous and like rich people that are successful and how people respond to their politics and beliefs. For instance, Roman Reigns, fucking the tribal chief of the bloodline in WWE. Recently, an article came out from Vanity Fair. He supported Trump. Crazy, right? It shook the WWE world, right? And I'm just like, I just laugh at it because I'm just like, does that ruin me watching him in a match? I'm like, not really. Like, I'll enjoy his wrestling, but I have an opinion of him. Like, at least I know where he stands. I still very much respect his fucking family. I know some of his family because they're security guards, like in the Bay, like type shit, like the Usos, like
that's
shit.
not gonna ruin WWE for me. Like how finding out R. Kelly peed on
Shit
girls
like that,
ruined
right?
Ignition for me, you know?
But I will be very judgmental. I would just think you're a fucking dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're not paying attention, who's really paying attention to what's going on, right? Type shit, and what the president's doing, what's going on in our world. People that are just aware of the word capitalism. You know what I mean? And then just like, how can we like ethically participate in it, and like we can't, like, you know what I mean? I use an iPhone and there's still fucking kids mining for that shit.
It's so tough.
I wear Nikes, like it's shit like that, right? So like I said, I'm a fan of Kendrick, and I get the criticism. Same thing you can say for Beyonce, how people weaponize the culture. But like if we do our groundwork on here and be organized, I always like picture like what happens if I get a lot of money? Like how could I still not be criticized for being a rich fuck, right? It's like I'll be good scholarships away. I'll donate to Filipino community centers. Like, what if I really got fuck you money, right? Like, will I turn into a Joe Rogan? Will I jump the red pill shit? Like, I want it to happen so I can see what would happen. You know what I mean?
You're curious as to how it can change your character.
If I get $1 million, what the fuck would I do? Would I still stay in the same apartment? The thing is, like, I'm just so used to being broke.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see what I would be like. You know what I mean? Because I'm single, bro. I don't got family. I don't got kids. I'm just a bachelor. And I just got my mom, my sisters, my niece to take care of. Like, if I get hella money, bro, like, yeah, I'll give them a bunch of money. And then, like, what do I do? Like, I think I'll be known as a better person for giving it away, right? Type shit. Or flipping it, right? Or is rich people's goal really just to get more? Like, will I get that urge? You know what I
guess
mean?
so. I mean, it depends on what the balance was. Like, I heard this. I listened to this podcast this past weekend with Theo Vaughn, and he had Bernie Sanders on. Right?
Okay.
Bernie Sanders is not like a super duper rich dude, but his life in politics,
Mr. Socialist,
it's gotten him money, right? And so Theo asked him like, "Hey, with this amount of money, how has it changed you?"
Yeah.
And Bernie said, "It hasn't really changed me. Yeah, I got a beautiful home like here, but like really, what my money provides me is not having to think about what I have to buy when I go to the grocery store."
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, and now I'm thinking with your question or with your thought process, like if I were to stumble upon that much money, what would I do with it, right? I want to, at the very least, make sure that like I don't have to think about like how many bananas I gotta get at the grocery store. I don't have to think about like I'm still gonna go to Costco. I'm still gonna get those free samples at Costco. Eggs are getting more expensive. I don't want to think about expensive eggs, bro. I want an omelet in the morning. Yeah, but if
it and how will it affect my art? Like I'm struggling. Like, you know, a lot of my art is based on my experience right now, rapping about having to be on like Medi-Cal and shit like that. Like, because that experience is relatable. Yeah. So the more famous I get, the more unrelatable you get, right? To the common people. Like, it was just May Day, you know, it was just International Workers' Day type shit. And I'm very like, I mean, I'm pro people type shit. I want to be like that, but I also know I'm not a good worker. Like, I'm a good artist, you know, I'm good at making music, but I suck at like I get so mad at work, you know what I mean?
Of course, everyone
serving
does.
People and like shit, like, you know, bartending and whatever. Like, I know my calling is to make art for people to enjoy and stuff like that, but how can I stay authentic to that cause? And that's my eternal struggle right now in this life, in this generation. Like, I wish I could write a book about it. I probably will, but like, they're going to look back at 2025, like what an artist like me, who's very aware of his place in this world, what he's struggling internally. And that's like, he wants to be rich, but like, you will really kill yourself if that happens. You know what I mean? What happens to your soul, bro? And that's I'm very interested in that. That's why I want to try it on myself.
Dude, that's a crazy. Hey, man.
I want to be rich too. Like I want the fucking money, but like what will happen? Like what will happen to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
how will it change you? Is it true that it kind of deteriorates
bro,
your character?
everything would change. Dating would change. You
Ooh,
know,
that's what I'm scared about.
like-
If I were to ever be, I mean, like it doesn't matter for me. I'm engaged, but if I were to be
But yeah.
single and rich, how much would it really affect like how people look at
Right.
me, like authentically?
that's why I really respect all the girls that date me because I'm like, yeah, you like the real me because I'm not fucking rich or nothing. So I'm like, cool, you see my character, that's dope as shit. So I'm like, will my character change if I get a lot of bread? You know what I mean? I hope not. You know, the cool thing will probably pull like a crazy rich Asian, like not reveal you're super rich to someone.
You have to, dude.
Yeah, bro. And I'm Asian, bro. So I think about that all the time. I'm like, dude, if I get super rich, I could probably walk around and people still wouldn't like super recognize me.
Oh, just walk around.
You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
dude.
I can still walk up in Saramane or like a fucking Pacific Super or something like that, Seafood City, and like be chilling. Like I'm not like no fucking wow wee Hollywood Filipino Vogue Filipino. I could pull it off. I could put a hood on, a hat on. I could be incognito. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's easy. It's easy for us Filipinos because we all look alike, dude.
Chill, yeah, you know,
we all just kind of blend in, dude.
So yeah, that's. I feel like I'm coming to this realization on your podcast, bro. It's like I want to be rich, but I also just want to see what it does. What it does to us, bro. And then
That's so interesting. I've never heard of anyone wanting to be rich for those reasons. And it's truly self-aware because I've heard of people wanting to like get money to be able to like help the world, which we all want to do, but I think you're
there's only so much I could do for that, you know? Like I want to affect the people that are around me, like the communities around me, all the Filipino orgs that I volunteered for, all the shit in San Francisco. I want to support ethnic studies, like that would be hella sick. I think scholarships would be cool. I think scholarships look good on paper. Yeah. you gotta think about the optics of things too. Like I said, like you can make charities and donate and stuff. I'd rather just give it straight to students that have like give me sick essays on like communism or radicalization and shit like that. I want if I go on tour, bro, like every tour stop. I was thinking about this the other day because I got a lot of time to think. On my head, I'd be taking public transportation, but I was like, bro, like every tour stop I do, I would like visit classrooms and drop like 10K or something. If I got a lot of bread, you know what I mean? On one student, whatever. Because like I think that would be sick for like a Filipino kid. And a Filipino rapper comes through, gives them some bread for college or whatever, and make them want to go to school. You know, that would be sick. I didn't have that growing up. Shit, you feel me?
You just
like,
got to make sure that they do the right thing with the money.
My last name's Garcia, and like I grew up in DC, and like I would get hit up for the Latino scholarships. I'd be in the room, I'd be like, I gotta go. Like, I'm sorry, I can't take this from you. I would probably win this shit, but I can't take it for you guys because same colonizer, but I know this isn't like
same colonizer
geared towards me. I get it. They probably just saw my name and were like wanted me to look at the scholarship type shit. But that's my advice to any young person out there. I should have applied for more scholarships. Apply for the schools, whatever. Apply for hella fucking scholarships, man. Scholarships all day, every day. Like even if it doesn't pick you, you could like work your way around that shit, bro. Like just get money. It's free money.
Imagine if you could have actually gone to the Berklee School of Music on some scholarships, dude.
Life would be different, but I'd probably be an asshole. Like I wouldn't be cool, bro. Like
if you went to Berklee School of Music,
I'm surrounded by assholes there, bro. I went to a Berklee School of Music saxophone camp one time, and the things about like, and here's the thing, bro. That's why I said growing up. Yes, what was like growing up? I was like summer camps, right?
Yeah.
There's a summer camp for everything: golf, exploring. But I went to basketball and acting camp and like school band camp, and the constant factor in all those things were the people that were really good at those things at a young age were all assholes. Right? The people that knew they were good. It's very rare that like it's either they're really good or a weirdo. They're really weird. And that goes until college to this day too. Where I fit in that, and you know, I'm not saying I was the coolest kid. I still have my outcast moments all the time growing up, not being like the strongest or whatever. But then when I was like kind of good at saxophone, I learned a lot of lessons growing up. Like they're like, you got to stay humble, bro, because like look at these other people, right?
Yeah.
They move weird, right? People that are really good at something that know they're better than other people,
they move weird.
They move weird, bro. So when I knew what I was like, if I went to Berklee right now, I would be with a bunch of people who were the best at what they do around the country, be very competitive, and I probably would either have ate that shit up, or hated it. And me moving out here, you know, to the Bay, a very grounded, humble place, in my opinion. You know, people are aware out here because they do mushrooms and psychedelics and shit too. You feel me? Like, I was like, oh, I understood the world, like when I first did mushrooms type shit. But I was like, if I really went to Berklee, I probably would have got way better at saxophone. But the people I would have been around wouldn't have pushed me to the person I am right now.
Yeah.
The person I am right now has been pushed by Filipino professors that went through the ringer in like UCLA in the 2000s that saw Filipino American culture, that helped like make the debut film and shit. I've been surrounded by a lot of Filipino creatives in the Bay Area that are connected with LA and Seattle that I never realized pushed our Filipino American culture forward. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm right where I need to be, because growing up, I was not neglecting my Filipino American culture. I just didn't know. Wasn't as grateful for it. You know, I was never like self-hating, like, oh, I hate that I'm Filipino type shit. I actually love that shit. I love the food. I love going to the Philippines, you know. But, you know, when I was in DC, I was more focused on fitting in, getting Jordans and shit, smoking weed, just, you know, getting accepted by my black friends. And I was, which is hella cool. When I came here to the Bay and I discovered that I could only be comfortable being Filipino, but celebrate that shit and organize and like see murals of Filipino history in LA and here and know what Stockton is, realize what Stockton is to the Filipino American person. And once I like discovered that knowledge, bro, I was like, damn, if I went to Berkeley, I don't know. How would I come across this?
Yeah. You'd be unaware for it.
Yeah, and so I'm very grateful that the journey that I went, because that shit's so important to me. And like I said, bro, I'm not even like, I don't even speak Tagalog, bro. Like, I'm not even like super Filipino in that aspect where I understand everything, but I'm very grateful to the knowledge that I was exposed to in terms of like Filipino production and like the community that surrounds myself with. And that's why I don't make my music so like, hey, I got an album called Filipinos in Space, but I'm also like, I'm still keep my Rocky G identity as a stoner that just got this knowledge. Like, how could I be fucking lit and then like slip in some knowledge in that bitch too, you know? Because I want to market my music not just to the Filipino like academic scene, you know what I mean? I still want to market my music to everyone as much, have it be accessible to people as possible. But if I could slip in those tiny little facts and lessons into the music, then that'd be sick.
Yeah,
trying to make that fusion, bro. That's me, bro, straight up. And then I play saxophone.
Yeah, it's dope that you are aware of what lane you want to be in, because as an artist and all the artists that I've been able to talk to on this platform, like artist identity, and like finding their people, their demographic, like their you know,
it's what they struggle with.
It's a struggle just in general, like, because you want to nurture your biggest fans. Yeah, it's hard to find who your biggest fans are sometimes if you don't even know like who you are and what kind of art you're putting out there. But it seems like you're very aware of that, dude.
I've been told my music is like personal, right? And so like my sister who's in the industry, my middle sister, like her boyfriend is like a hella good like keyboardist and shit. Yeah. And he told me like, oh, he should try to make like a commercial album that could at least get like sync or whatever, which means like get placements in movies and stuff like that. And I'm like, I could do that maybe with the instrumentals that I do, but I'm like, I can't write non-personal music like unless I write it for someone else. I could write hooks all day, verses all day for other people, but if it's a Rocky G project, like I gotta slip in my little devil shit, like it
has to be you, because like that's the whole point of it. It's especially if it's representing you.
They want to see me, you know.
I mean, there's no point. I mean, it's a form of self-expression, and like if you're getting rid of the self part of that expression, then what the fuck are we doing, right?
Straight up, bro. Like I just gotta do me, bro. And I wish I went to Berkeley at least for like a year or something. But you know what I mean?
It'd have been dope to try it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even if they're assholes, I feel like if you...
I would have learned a lot, bro.
You would have learned a lot. Either you would have been like them a little bit, it's just 1 year, or once again, you could have hated it and known what to avoid to be like, right?
It's so fucked up because at the end of the day, my mom lived in downtown San Francisco, and right next to her house was the dorms for this thing called the Academy of Art, which is like a private art school in San Francisco, kind of the equivalent to Berkeley. Basically, the San Francisco version of that. That's where a lot of my homies I met to this day, they're in the dorm right next to my mom's. I'm like, I don't know anyone in Frisco at 18. Yeah. I see kids, they're playing pool in the dorms. I have a bag of weed and a blunt. I'm like, hey, y'all smoke weed? Y'all try to smoke some weed? And they come outside, and I just meet that whole friend group. That's where my brother Nug Life, he was going there actually. And so, like,
that's the origin story.
I was hanging out with art school kids anyways that I would have hung out in Boston, but there were a bunch of different mediums. There were actors, there were beat makers, artists, visual artists, jewelry and shit. It was hella cool. but they're all from California mostly. Mostly. Like, that's my first time ever hanging out with like people from Santa Cruz. I was like, this is what I picture white skater boys to be like. You know what I mean?
Santa Cruz is definitely the depiction of that. You
and
know?
a lot of my good friends are still to this day, like my boy Oscar from Santa Cruz. He's Hispanic though, but you know what I mean. Like, getting immersed in this California culture, it was like a movie to me, bro. Because it was like what I would see in media, and then it was like they're tangible people in front of me. I was like, this is crazy, bro. Even like NorCal people, like it's like hippie shit, bro. It's so interesting, bro. Like when I moved out here, because what I'm used to was like more like how do I say it? Like paid in full type culture, like really like black gangster, rich black culture. Like Maryland, where I'm from, bro, it was like rich black people too. So it was very different than like when I was in DC. So it's just I can't explain it, and I can't even explain DC to people from out here. I was like, you guys just gotta come out. I gotta take you. I gotta just show you. You know, same thing with the Philippines. Same thing. You gotta just be in these places to experience it. And I'm blessed to see so many of those like different spots. I'm hella into anthropology like that, how people act in different environments. So me being in the Bay, it just let me be myself.
Yeah. Dude, fuck yeah, man. Like, it's you being able to travel everywhere and then end up in this melting pot of diversity.
The Bay Area? Like,
yeah.
what?
Like, and I bet a lot of people, wherever you go, I bet a lot of people think like you're from the Bay already.
Oh yeah. People out here, they think that. You know what I mean? Before I tell them, I'm always truthful though. I'm like, sorry, I'm from the East Coast, bro. But I've been out here since 2013. So yeah. It's a good amount of time. Like,
it is a good amount of time. Do you think you're a lot different than when you first came here?
Yes, for sure. I've lived a lot of life, but I've actually rediscovered myself, like what I used to be when I first moved out here. Like, cause I'm like back in the same lane. Like I did a whole life, like from 2013 to 2023, bro. I lived like a whole crazy life of like change, like constant change, where I was like, okay, 18 and 19, I moved out here. I go to City College for a little bit. My dad passes away back home. And then I'm like, I drop out of college, and then I'm just living life, smoking weed every day. And then I do mushrooms July 5th, 2014. And then the next year I start going to SF State. So then life changed. All right, different season. Then season 2 type shit. Season 2, I'm just like making my way through college. Interesting vibes, interesting, cool. Like, you know, still doing my music shit, playing sax, meeting hella people in the Bay still, doing the art scene. And then season 3, which was the next year, is when I joined a Filipino club in fucking SF State. Yeah. When I joined that Filipino club, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm trying to meet girls and shit. I'm trying to fuck up, meet some Filipino girls from California type shit. Bam! I fucking read America's in the Heart by Carlos Bulosan. And I'm like, whoa, this is like heavy literature based on the Filipino American experience. And then I'm like, okay, let me write some poetry about it type shit. Let me write some music about it. And then I took a Filipino American literature class where like the whole semester we read like 12 different books written about Filipinos. And I was like, holy fuck. Okay, my life changed again. Bam, I joined this program called PEP, Pinoy Educational Partnerships, where I teach ethnic studies, like everything I just learned to high school kids. Cool. I just graduated that same year. Next year I dropped Filipinos in Space. COVID happens. All this time too, I picked up a girlfriend and shit. So like, all right, I'm living this life as like a domesticated man. Like I'm not wild anymore. So like, I was building my character up, and then like when me and homegirl broke up, I tried to move to LA for a little bit, and it was cool. I was spending hella money down there, and then I came back here because I didn't like living down there. I didn't like driving that much. I love driving, but like I didn't like looking for parking and paying for that shit.
I see.
Fuck that shit. I love Bart, bro. Shout out Bart, bro. I had to borrow my mom's car to get out here to Vallejo, but like, you know what I mean? But I come back, bro, and I live my life again. I reconnect with my homies from F&G, like, because all these folks I've known since we were 18, like, rapping in Dolores Park type shit in San Francisco. And then I kind of go away a little bit and focus on my academics and my community organizing and like discovering my character. And then I started, like, also in like 2018, I started performing with this artist, Ruby Ibarra. It was hella dope.
Shout out.
Man, shout out Ruby. Did a lot for me. I tour with her. I go to the Philippines with her. That's how I got introduced to like Bamboo and like Rocky Rivera. This other scene of Filipino American hip hop that I got kind of involved in. Shout out to Carlangelo too. I know they're doing Gauntlet's Paradise tomorrow. If you ain't doing anything tomorrow, you should go to this concert tomorrow.
Man, I gotta
You
go to walk.
gotta do some shit, but it's all good. I got a lot of.
I'm a busy boy.
I got a lot of artists for you to meet, bro. But
hell yeah.
But yeah, bro. I've lived all that life, and then this past 2 years, I rediscovered I had a lot of time to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was giving myself a lot to these orgs, to these classes, to these schools, to work, to my girl at the time. So now I have a lot of time on my hands. I got my own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of time to write, to experience things, and I'm like, what do I do with this time, right? What do I talk about now, write about? And so with this next project, I'm calling it Renee.
Mm-hmm.
My real name is Renee Garcia. I'm named after my grandpa. It used to be the only people that knew that were people that were really close to me, but I'm really ready to open that up.
Wow.
To the world, you know, and don't look my shit up, chop out my eyes or nothing like that. But I'm just like, why not? I've never been not proud of it, but I've been called Rocky since I was a kid because that was my ninon's name. So I have a Tito Rocky who is my dad's best friend, and they just named me after that too.
Wow.
My grandpa, I'm Rene Vicente Garcia. Vicente's my dad on my mom's side. Rene's my dad, my dad's dad type shit. So I'm like, all right, let me call myself Renee. Because also when I was growing up, I was like, oh, that's a girl's name. I'm fucking Rocky type shit, Nowadays, I've always been super chill with people knowing it. It's just kind of a hidden secret.
Yeah.
But if I name my project that and I talk about that, then I'm like, all right, this is where I'm at. I'm about to be 30 in June, bro. I gotta be cool at least with the fucking name. You know what I mean?
At the very least.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna name the project that, and it's gonna come out in June right before my birthday. Come out to my birthday show, June 21, Brick and Mortar. Performing with Panay Voltron, Big Hungry, all the homies DJing and shit. I just want to celebrate my 30th birthday doing what I love, and that's performing music.
Yeah.
Straight the fuck up, bro. So it's cool, man. And I couldn't have done that without the people in the Bay Area, bro. Shout out to the Bay, man. Yeah. Shout out to the Bay and DC. I can't wait to go back home. About to be back home DC 2 times. These next times, hit me up, fools. I'm gonna be out there, kind of ground myself. But it's just, I'm very, I'm blessed to have those 2 worlds and my upbringing and my identity be who I am, because otherwise I would just be a sax player rapping about bullshit, Yeah. There's another side of me is all that experience, and how can I use that in my art? Straight up.
Dude, that's dope. Thank you for sharing, man. It's super important where someone comes from, where they go, and where they're gonna go. All that shit just that makes you you. And so thank you for sharing your art and whatnot. You freestyle a lot?
What's up, bro?
We got options, dude. So I'm gonna lay out some options. I don't know if you know. I don't know if any of your homies have that have been on the show have told you about how I end the episodes. I do it
Let me know.
one of different ways. I got a background in comedy improv, so with people like Too Easy, with Aft, and other people in FNG.
Yeah.
Ozer did an improv scene with me.
Okay, he didn't. Ozer didn't want to freestyle.
Nah, I don't know if I gave him the option. Let's see.
Who freestyled? I want to know.
Who's freestyled before? My homie Cujo.
Okay.
It's more of a new thing. I've had Scando freestyle on here. This female rapper from the Bay known as Lil MC.
Yeah, I know Lil MC for sure.
Frack has freestyled with me.
Yeah, Frack the God.
Yeah,
for
dude,
sure.
we swapped 4s on that. Or you can spit something that's written. What you want to do?
Let's freestyle, bro.
Let's
Fuck
freestyle.
It, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It might not be good, but fuck it. You gotta try.
Well, that's the whole point.
I can spit riddance all day. You know what I mean? But whatever.
No, this is one of my favorite parts is that we get when someone says they want to freestyle, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Because I'm not a rapper at all, but I definitely was that kid in high school where I smoked a bunch of weed with my homies and I would backseat freestyle, and I'm not good at it at all. I'm silly with it. So it's always fun. Yeah, you got a tight beat that we should rap to?
Surprise me. Yo, hey yo, chilling at a podcast. Used to watch Skinner Max on Comcast. Yo, I hope nobody catches me. Fuck, that shit is crazy. Yeah, I need a rapper fee. Yo, I need a casualty. Cause casually, I just do this shit so naturally. Chillin' with my boy Christian. The shit is not written. Rocky G stay spittin'. You know I got the fitted on. No I don't. I don't even wear hats. Cause I care about my hairline. Yeah, you know that. Filipinos got bad hairlines. That's facts. So I don't wear hats. Yeah, that's that. Motherfuckers know I just try to rap. So I hide it with my veins. Yeah, you know I got that. Got cash, goddamn. Rocky G got the flow, and and you know I got smoke, I got dope, what you know, I got hope, yeah, and I don't even try to cope. Shout out to that boy, Casey Cope, cause you got the flow, yeah, it's Rocky, and he know, and I try to rap all day, pass it to my boy, to my right, so he can just say, welcome to the podcast, it can't be that bad, yeah, you know I got fat, yeah, you know I got cat. Like,
Dude, what the fuck? That's raw shit.
my bad, I just ate the beat up.
Oh, no, you're all good. I'm just going to hit next. Eat the beat up for as long as you want, man. I'll just start the next one. I ain't tripping about that.
Shit. Hey.
All right, I'm one of those fucking
Fast flows.
rappers that needs a word to start off.
All right. Mitochondria.
Yeah. Mitochondria. Yeah. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Fucking slit your throat and I'll send your ass straight to hell.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, you gotta go to confession. But
what?
You know what's really bad? The fucking recession. Cause we need some fucking money to just put in my pocket. I'm about to take my 2 fingers, I'll hit you in the fucking socket. I got a picture of your mama in my fucking locket.
What?
And you know I got her going to the back, pop, lock, and drop it. Yeah, spitting fire every fucking day. I'm Christian. Sometimes I don't even know what I say. Go back home, get up on my knees and I pray and go play some video games and I slay the fucking dragon. I do not want to fall off the wagon.
What?
Yeah, I'm really fast, so I'm never fucking lagging.
Hey.
I'm doing the podcast and I'm constantly spitting and I go up to your lady. Her eyes are really fucking smitten like a kitten and she goes, you want some peck?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn girl, what the heck?
Heck.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm gonna go take her to the back, break her back, and you know I want the kitchen, not the snack. Word.
Lift the barrel up like I'm just a barrel man. Yeah, singing Christmas carols, man. Yo, what you do this day? Yeah, I'm getting paid. Yeah, I live in the Bay. Shout out to Vallejo, where we at now. This the V, and you know I got the cash now. Psych, nah, I'm so motherfucking broke. I'm waiting for the next paycheck. I fucking hope that it looking good. I be looking good. I be smoking woods. Yeah, I'm from the hood. That's the DMV, where I live for free. Now I'm out the west, but I'm from the east. And I want the bread, so I just could see what I could be when I get that rich. But don't even trip, I don't gotta flip. No more packs, no more. I don't gotta sip. I just gotta rip. Take the flip and I flip the grip tape. Smoking on my skateboard. Yeah, you know I hit rapes. No, I don't hit no tobacco, just that weed vape. I don't got the shit, but you know I'm trying to be great. Rocky G, yeah, it's the motherfucking flow. I be coming from the East Coast, you already know. Rapping about the ethics study shit, but still a fucking stoner. And I got my new community, I ain't just a fucking loner. And you know I motherfucking know, got the loners. I don't fuck with no banks, keep the cash in the mattress. But no, I be swaying like the Pips and Gladys. Midnight trains, yeah, you know I got the brain. It's Rocky G flow. It can't be that bad on the podcast, but no, I be talking for days. You know I hard hat. I'm so hard headed. I'm so ignorant. I'm just a Gemini. You know you motherfuckers brilliant. It's me.
Fuck yeah.
Little flows.
Hell yeah.
Slight flows. Sorry, slight flows.
Killing it, bro. One more time, let me get back in the flow. I'm a guy that says yes, that never ever says no. Cause
What?
I'm really too nice, cause I am a Cancer. When I'm walking around, I'm fucking looking like a prancer.
Yeah.
Damn, looking like a dancer dancing on the floor. Yeah, let me go home, let me go over to the store. Let me go tell your girlfriend she is not a whore. She's
No.
a nice lady. Let me count up to 4 because that's how long it takes her till I take her out. You know I take her to the back and I blow her out. Yeah, fucking bro, that fucking I'm fucking done. Okay, go ahead. Oh, the beat's almost done. Let me get to the next one.
Blow her out.
Blow her back
Fuck
out.
that bitch in the bathroom. Blow that back out. She gon' need a chiropractor. She gon' need adjustments when you done with her. When you done with her. Got them gases built up in the back, so you need to press them out. Hey yo, check. Yo, your girl need antibiotics. Cause you know she not clean. Living in a dream. She just took it for the team. Psych, nah, it was me. But with a group of 3 girls running a train on me, I consent. You know I just wanna be free. Oh God, that's what we call reverse game bang. Don't ask me how I know, cause you know I don't hang like no. They was all pretty and I'm so witty, and they from the city, and they really with me, but nah, it's all hyperbole, that ain't really happen. Freestyle shit, podcast, I'm yapping, psych, lunchtime freestyle with my rep tone. Yeah, you know it's the epitome of metronomes. Didn't bring my motherfucking saxophone, I should, but you know I'm in the woods, smoking on the woods with my boy Christian. What you fucking do? Yeah, we do these podcasts with the fucking crew.
Making money every day, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Fucking go up to your homie, call him a fool. Go to the bathroom cause you know I gotta go poo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that bitch Wendy Woo. Brenda's song, my crush, do her in the butt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, you ain't a slut. I wanna just marry you every day. And I'm like, damn girl.
Yeah.
Hey, can't say that shit cause Bill Cosby's kinda weird. I'm one of them only Filipinos that grow a beard.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm that person that everybody fears. I like to drink Chardonnay, but sometimes a beer like a hazy. Going fucking crazy. Ladies tell me that my balls are real tasty.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn girl, let me lay down, I'm lazy. You know what? You cannot even pay me.
Check.
Yeah,
drinking some seltzer. You know I go melt them. The gold on the chains, and you know I'm like Phelps them. I'm smoking on bonds, getting gold medals too. And you know I got the repertoire, I got the fucking crew. It's me with F&G, chilling with the crew. Beat, rock, bowler, music, Filipinos, what we do. And we chilling from the east to the west to the islands. Rocky G, we rhyming. Christian on the timing. We ain't ever liming. Yeah, you know we sliming. On a scooter lineman, on a spin too. On the Uber rides, whatever you motherfucking do with my crew. I ain't losers, and you know I got the flu. I be sick, COVID got me fucked up. Nah, your motherfucking bullshit got me fucked up. Goddamn, hit you like a dump truck. Rocky G, it could be that bad podcast. What's up?
this is fun as fuck. Let's keep going.
Come on. Hey. Hey. Yeah. Hey.
Alright, can I get another word?
Let's go with identity.
I don't know who I am. I'm just a silly boy that just wants to eat green eggs and ham. Or maybe because I'm Filipino, I want to eat some spam. And I'm like, damn, maybe I want some clams. I want to go to the buffet and I'll just put it on my plate. I used to be a big boy with some massive weight. Do not play a hate. I'll go home and masturbate. I'm the fucking master of baiting. That's a masturbate. Yeah, I like to go fishing with the bitches. I like to go home and I go and wash the dishes. Because I want to make my lady a food that's delicious. Yeah, and it's slightly nutritious. I put the greens up in that bitch and some rice. She likes me, dude, cause I'm hella nice and I don't have to say things once or twice. She does it the first time, not thrice. Yeah, Christian on the beat. Yeah, I like to smell feet. Yeah, I like to eat treats that are constantly sweet. I fucking put it in my pocket and I put it in my pants. We go to the debut and we constantly dance, do the cha-cha to some 90s beats. I'm like, damn girl, let me go see your feet. Don't got a foot fetish. I like good lettuce. I don't know what the fuck you want to go. Dip out of this club and we do it again. I got me a friend Ben who has 9s and 10s, and I don't know what that mean, but I shoot it up with the Glock and she go home and she suck and slobbers on this cock. Word.
He like feet like Tarantino with my Filipino cousins at the casino.
Yeah.
On the 8th island of Hawaii, that's Vegas. Yeah, you know I say this, I don't betray this. I got my flow with my Ooses and my Polynesians, my Samoans and my Tongans, and you know we see it. On my Southeast Asian stand up, yeah we brown skin, yeah you know we know what's up. Light skin homies on the East is cool, but you know they ain't really know how to act a fool like us, drinking Red Horse, San Miguel, or that Johnny Walker Blue Label, burning hell. But nah, we Filipinos, so we struggle with resilience. And we go so in and our hearts so militant. You can't colonize our mind state. Motherfuckers try to rhyme late, chilling on a rhyme date. Yeah, I got a red eyes, chilling like a Jedi, shooting like I'm Dead-Eye. Red Dead Redemption, you know I got my own competition. I be hating from afar and I hate the women. Psych, nah, I love the women, protect the women. I say it on my shirt and God is given. God's a woman, she blossoms on him, and I try to cover my tracks, I spot him like
God's a woman, God's hella sexy, God is ghosting me, God won't text me.
What the fuck? Hit me back, fool.
Hit me back, God, I need you right now.
I just said I hate women in my raps. That's
But you said,
crazy.
nah.
I was like, JK, read my shirt. Damn.
That's the thing about freestyles, dude. They're not true
It
thoughts.
comes out.
Unless you could be one of them rappers where every freestyle is a true thought. That's like crazy.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah, bro. Thanks for having me, dog.
Yeah, dude. Rocky G, thank you for coming through, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get out of here,
Appreciate
go
it.
ahead and look into the barrel of the camera. Let people know what they have to look forward to and where they can find you on social media.
Man, I'm gonna drop a project from my 80th birthday in June. 'Cause I'm about to be an unk. I don't know when this podcast is gonna come out, but celebrate with me June 21st at Brick and Mortar in San Francisco. Follow me on IG. Follow my music. If not, just smoke a fat blunt. Listen to that shit. See how you feel. You feel me? Right on.
Perfect. Baddies, you know where to find me. You guys know where to find the podcast because you're already here. One more thing, Rocky. Once again, look into the barrel of your camera. Leave my listeners with the phrase of saying a piece of advice that reminds them that it can't be that bad.
Hey, you got a place to shit? Can't be that bad.
All right, appreciate you, dude. Till next time.
Thank you, bro.
All
Right on.
Peace.
Can't be that bad.